One Saturday, I'm laying on my couch and I'm not feeling very well. My nose is running. I've got a headache. And we cancel our plans. Me and my fiance, we cancel our plans for the day because we thought, well, let's just hang out at home and we'll just kind of chill on the couch and relax. We'll just get in better shape for church tomorrow on Sunday. My phone rings and it's my mom. And I don't know if y'all talk to your mom every day. I don't. And I'm usually the one that initiates the conversation with my mom. I usually call her. So when she calls me, I know that something is wrong or she wants something. I answer the phone and she starts talking to me and I realize she's upset. So I figure, okay, this could go either way. She either wants something or something's wrong, She says, I need you to come help your dad lift a horse. I thought, okay, I do lift weights every single day, but the average weight of a horse is about 1,000 pounds. So I don't know how much help I'm going to be lifting a horse. She's upset, and I immediately, my first thought is a shameful thought. I think, why would I go lift a horse? Why would I go do, I'm sick. My nose is running up my throat, my head. Like, I got to be ready for church tomorrow. So immediately my instinct is on myself. I immediately think selfishly. I'm only thinking of myself. I'm not thinking of my dad. I'm not thinking of my mom. I'm not thinking of the horse, that's for sure. So right away, I have to talk myself into it, like 5 or 10 minutes talking myself into it, because I'm like, I'm going to be a pastor. I'm in ministry school. What kind of follower of Jesus am I if my family, my parents, it's one of the 10 commandments, honor your parents. What kind of pastor would I be if I didn't help them when they ask for help? It did. It took me like 5 or 10 minutes to talk myself into it. But I finally did. I was like, okay, you know what? I thought to myself, even if I can't lift a horse, I'm going to make sure I go there and I'm there for my dad and I'm there for my parents. I know my dad had a connection to the horse because his dad, who passed away, my grandpa, they got the horses together, and that was kind of like his last connection to my grandpa who passed away. But it was just interesting. It brought up something interesting. I mean, how many of us ever get a phone call or a text message from a family member or a friend, and they're asking for help, and we immediately think, what did that person do wrong? What did they do wrong to get themselves in this situation where they need to reach out to me for help? They need to bother me. What did they do wrong? See, the devil wants us to be selfish. And it's hard for us. We're raised that way. We're raised to be selfish and to think of ourselves. And especially if we're raised, struggling coming up, we're kind of in a survival instinct. It's hard to break that mentality. And when you're raised like that, when you're living paycheck to paycheck, when you don't know when you're going to eat again, you kind of have to think about yourself because it's survival, right? We got to get out of that way of thinking. When somebody asks for help, we should just say yes and help them. We shouldn't think, well, what did they do wrong? Well, they put themselves in this situation. We immediately start judging them. We shouldn't be doing that. It's not what we're called to do as Jesus' followers. It's not what we're called to do as Christians. We're called to love and to serve and to help. So in that day, when the whole horse thing happened, I thought to myself, well, this is good because I'm given the opportunity to actually show my family, show my parents that I have legitimately changed, that the calling that God put on my life has really changed me as a person. So I'm going to be there for them. I'm going to support them. I'm going to be nothing but positive and happy and loving. And I'm going to be like Jesus in that moment. So I wanted them to see the changes as well. And I wanted them to feel loved. So that's what I did. So there's a 2023 study. 90% of people surveyed said that an act of kindness made them feel significantly better, happier, and put them on a path to having a better day. That's tremendous. 90% of people, a random act of kindness can help somebody have a better day. It can make somebody feel happier. That's incredible. Of those people surveyed, only a quarter of them admitted to having done an act of kindness for someone in the past hour. So I'm just wondering, like, what would it look like if we all lived our lives knowing that some random act of kindness can help somebody? And what's even more, building on that, another study showed that if you simply just talk to somebody who was considering suicide, the conversation resulted in the person not going through with it. That's tremendous. Right now I'm on my honeymoon, and one of the things that I have done this entire way, I don't like to fly, so we drove a lot. Ohio to Florida is quite a long drive. And whenever we would stop at gas stations, hotels, restaurants, whatever, whenever we're approaching the entrance, I make sure that I hold the door open for every single person that is coming in or out, and I will sit there. I remember at one gas station when we finally made it to Florida, I ended up holding the door there for like 10 different people. And one guy said to me, this older guy, he came up to me and he said to me when I held the door open for him, he said, "You just made my day. You don't realize how much I needed that." And so we really need to show love to everybody. Think about them. Jesus served people. He didn't serve himself. He served others. So just keep that in mind when you're walking around. You never know, just, a simple smile to somebody, holding the door open, just a hello. You don't know how far that can carry somebody. It could be literally the difference between saving somebody's life. So I think that's just like a super small thing that we can be doing differently every single day that will significantly change the world of our brothers and sisters. And it's an easy thing that we can all do as followers of Jesus to look just like Jesus. We may not all talk, speak, and dress the same, but we can all look just like him if we show one another love. I'm going to talk a couple of scripture with y'all. Two of my favorite, Colossians 3:8. Colossians 3:8, but now you must also rid yourselves of all such things as these: anger, rage, malice, slander, and filthy language from your lips. That's actually the first piece of scripture that I ever memorized. Part of ministry schools. I'm actually in 3 ministry schools, and a lot of them have personal growth plans and leadership strategies, things like that. And so early on, one of my growth plans, I made the decision to set a simple goal that I would memorize one piece of scripture every week, like a new piece of scripture every week. I would memorize one. And that was the very first one, Colossians 3:8, that I memorized. And the reason why I did it is because Colossians, the letters that Paul wrote to the Colossians, it's just one of my favorite pieces of scripture, because he's talking about in Colossians how they really need to set themselves apart from regular society, because the Colossians, the church of Colossae, they're facing a lot of resistance from the rest of the world. They want them to sort of bend to the societal norms. They want them to do things like they're doing things. They're pressuring them to even alter the church of Jesus. They want them to accept the way things are and to kind of almost abandon Jesus' teachings in some more extreme aspects. And I think it's a perfect reflection of the society that we live in today, because if you look at the things that are going on in society today, they're really trying to tear us away from Jesus. Jesus' love and his teaching. In my opinion, if you look at the entertainment industry, if you look at the music, if you look at the culture, everything. I don't want to pick on anybody and I don't want to point fingers, but if you look at today's culture, in my opinion, we can learn a lot from the Colossians. They're trying to get us to accept some really extreme ideals. They're impressing a lot of extreme things on our children. Children are our future. We have to protect them. We need to put God back. We need to put God back in the schools and in our country. So that's Colossians 3:8. Sort of Paul's telling them, the church of Colossae, you need to continue to do this. Like, you need to set yourself apart from everybody else. As a follower of Jesus, you need to set yourself apart. You need to be the example. You need to be love. Don't say any cuss words. Don't be quick to anger or rage or malice or slander. Just love your brothers and sisters. Serve your brothers and sisters. And show Jesus. Show that you can be like Jesus. Show them that you are a follower of Jesus. You want somebody to look at your life and say, wow, that person is a follower of Jesus. You don't want somebody to look at your life and say, well, they're obviously struggling with some demons. You know? Okay, so that brings me to Mark 10:45. For even the Son of Man did not come to be served, but to serve and to give his life as a ransom for many. And that's, again, kind of like talking about serving others, right? And it's really hard for us as people to sort of put others first, but I think something that y'all can do, something that I do continuously, something that we can do, easy thing we can do, hold the door open for people, right? Somebody drops something at the supermarket, pick it up for them. These are little things that I do. I'm very tall, right? 6'6". And I'm at the supermarket and I see somebody looking at the top shelf. I always walk up to them and I say, you don't need help reaching anything, do you? And usually 9 times out of 10, they say, yes, I do. Thank you so much. And you can just tell that it makes their day. And because it's quite easy for me to reach tall things, you know, from tall shelves. So I just go ahead and do that. And I can tell that it really makes their day. It means a lot to them. So such an easy thing that we can do is just sort of serve others in these tiny, tiny little ways. They're going to make a huge difference in everybody's life, including yourself. Acts of kindness totally makes you feel good too. So don't just think that, oh, I'm not getting anything out of it. I mean, it makes you feel good too. So yeah, the main thing that I want y'all to keep in mind is that we can rebel against the flesh. And something that I have to do daily is remind myself that, hey, this is going to happen. I'm going to get cut off in traffic. And for whatever reason, it's like a huge thing for people, for men. You get cut off in traffic. You get so angry, right? I'm going to forgive that person now, today, this morning, before I get cut off in traffic. So when I get cut off in traffic, I can rebel against the flesh like that, and it doesn't bother me. It doesn't bother me a bit. Make the decision now to love one another. Make the decision now to rebel against the flesh. The next time you get a text message or a phone call from your mom or your dad or your brother or your friend, from anybody, and they're asking for help, just say yes. Make the decision to say yes now so that when it happens, you can immediately say yes and blow their socks right off. Like, holy moly. They just burnt the side of my face with the love of Jesus. They reacted so fast. So the horse story, I was not able to lift the horse. I was there for my dad, and I remember he kept walking away from the horse to go do other things, probably because he couldn't take the situation. It was really hard on him. My little baby brother, he was there with me, and my mom was there for a lot of it. And I remember as soon as he walked away, I said, look, this horse is not going to make it. This horse is going to die. It was cold out. It was winter. I said, this horse is not going to make it. This horse is going to die. But that's not the point. The point is we need to be there for Dad. This is the last connection he has to our grandpa, and it's really hard on him. We need to be there for him. And so that's what we did. And he probably doesn't look back on that day and have a whole lot of bad feelings about it, because he had his sons there and his wife there to support him and love him and be there for him. And so I think that that was probably one of the first steps that I took as far as living a biblically serious life, being an actual follower of Jesus. You know, saying you're a follower of Jesus is one thing, but then when you're presented with the opportunity to show it, that's what separates you between being one and just saying you're one. So, and I remember he was very upset that day. You know, we couldn't lift the horse. We made the horse comfortable. Like I said, it was a 1,000-pound horse. We made the horse comfortable. The reason why why did we need to lift the horse? Okay, I'm sure y'all are wondering that. Well, because the horse, if you know anything about horses, a horse, if it lays down, because the horse injured its leg, if the horse lays down, it can't get back up, and it can't get the blood flow for, you know, its body, and it's just going to pass away. It won't be able to eat, won't be able to drink water, and it's going to die in the cold because it was winter. So we needed to get it up and moving and eating and drinking, and we couldn't get it up, but we were there for our father. And I remember he was walking away. He was very upset, and me and my brother were standing right there. And I said, "Do you want to pray real quick?" He was, "Oh, I've been praying. All I've been doing is praying. I've been praying." I said, "Okay, yeah." I said, "But sometimes it helps to pray with other people, you know? You come pray with us." And he was kind of like, you know, he didn't really want to do it, didn't see the point in it. You know, he had prayed already, but he came over there, and just me and my brother, my mom had left at that point. She'd gone inside because it was really cold. It was winter. There was snow on the ground. And then just me, him, and my brother, I led us all in a prayer, and I just prayed, you know, that my dad would receive peace from this situation, and that his horse would receive peace. And I thanked God for the opportunity to have known the horse, and for all of the love and memories that he had with the horse and his father. And, you know, he broke down crying. He acted like he didn't want to do it, but he broke down crying. And I guarantee that when he thinks about that day, he remembers all the love that he received from me, my brother, his wife. And I like to believe that he thought of, you know, maybe Jesus was there that day, working through us. Maybe Jesus showed up that day and offered him a little bit of peace. So, if y'all take one thing from this video, take away this: a small act of kindness can show the world that Jesus has risen. Show everybody, open the door, smile, offer to get something off a shelf for somebody. Thank you so much for watching. God bless you.